video is brought to you by Bright Sellers.
So recently during my endless Pinterest scrolling sessions, I have been accosted by coats that look like this. I also recently started watching Charmed and I've been doing a Buffy rewatch with my brother, where I have also been accosted by coats that look like this. As a child who was raised on The Nanny growing up, I am not new to the style at all, and it has in fact been a dream garment of mine for some time. I love this style because it's about as close as you can get to a casual wizard aesthetic while remaining socially acceptable. And despite all of this, I do not own one. I think it's time to fix that.
This is the general design I'm going for. You might recognize it if you've seen this video. This design is just a full-length rectangular coat with faux fur trim around the collar, hem, and sleeves. This all may not seem like much, but the specific fabric I found is really the star of the show here.
So admittedly, this is full-on an impulse project because I found this fabric at the local thrift store. It was part of my haul that I said in my previous video that I got for $10, meaning this was next to nothing. So obviously I couldn't resist, and let me just show you the pattern here. I mean, it's beautiful. I especially love, look at all these little embroidered details here, all of the leaves. Also, whatever this is, don't know what it is, but it's pretty and my brain likes it. And just for kicks, it's also got a heavy bead on the end. I do not know why this is here, but wow, isn't it also so beautiful? If you hear me at any point screaming in pain, it's because someone has decided to attack my feet. Stop it! Violent baby. It really does not help that there's a tassel on this fabric because someone is having a lot of fun down there. Some of you are going to think this is horribly inefficient, but whenever I'm draping something like this that has a little bit more structure to it, to avoid wasting fabric, I just get a chunk of newspaper and use that instead. I find that it works okay. I need tape. Tape acquired. Wow, already off to a great start. So this should be the general shape that we're going for here. Super simple, just a panel on the front and then there's a seam on the side and then a panel on the back which will be mirrored for 2 panels. And then we also have a sleeve piece which I think is a pretty good fit, but I might alter this slightly. But I think this will suit my purposes just fine. I am now going to basically make a mock-up out of this using my lining fabric. I'm not gonna even have my hands on that for the next hour or so.
1 hour later.
I have a couple of different choices here. I was thinking about this purple kind of velvety fabric. I also have one of those in red, but I kind of want to use that for something else. I think I am going to use beautiful green velvety fabric, as long as I have enough of this. So the red alone might actually have enough for all of this. I don't know what I think about it with these other colors. Producer, what are your thoughts on the matter? Please tell us. Valuable stuff. I think the red is nice. It is giving a little Hefner, which is not really what I was going for here. What I might do, since this is already such a patchwork garment, I might use both and just split it down the middle. What do you think? Good plan? Good plan. Like, honestly, even just this is fun. Okay, bear with me because I didn't really feel like pinning all of this together right now, but here we are. If you can kind of just use your imagination. This is the vision coming together. I did not have enough of this main fashion fabric to do the sleeves, but that's okay. I just cut them out of the same material as the lining fabric, and I actually kind of like the contrasting textures. That's something that I'm kind of into right now. This, so far, is what we have to work with for all of the fur trim. This is left over from my pastel witch project. It's okay, it's fine, but I am kind of thinking that I might have to acquire a different faux fur to trim this with. In a pinch, it's not bad. It's giving Santa Claus. Just a little bit. I don't think that's the moment. I'm also just kind of gravitating toward these images where the fur is really over the top, especially around the collar. It's just huge and disproportionate. You know me, I really like the drama, so I doubt I would be able to find a blanket like that, but if I can opt for something like that instead, I might go for it over this. But that is a problem for later, Kira. In the meantime, I will see you guys tomorrow to sew all this together. Now, let me ask you something. Are you stressed? overwhelmed and in need of wine? Well, me too. Honestly, who isn't? Thankfully, Bright Cellars is fulfilling my wine needs by sponsoring today's video. Now, don't let my red cocktail dress deceive you. Whenever it comes to wine, I know absolutely nothing. But that's okay, because Bright Cellars is here for people like me. Bright Cellars is a wine club for real people who just want to drink some really good tasting wine and don't have like a year to become a sommelier just so you can decipher the grocery store aisle. All you have to do to find your new favorite wine is take a short 7-question quiz and they'll match you with a delicious wine selection based on your preferences. You can choose from 12 different plant options that offer over 100 different varieties of wine from 80 different wine regions across the world, conveniently delivered right to your doorstep.
I was enticed by my test results and I do want to try some new wines to see what else I like, so I just ordered exactly what my quiz recommended.
I'm basic and I know that I'm gonna love a sweet little rosé, so I did order the Petal Press Wine Company rosé, and I mean, yeah, no surprises there, she's delicious. Admittedly, I am not usually much of a red wine girl, but I did quite like this Azuli wine that they sent along. Every Bright Cellars box comes with these adorable little info cards that gives you a bunch of information about the wines you've ordered, like the different flavor notes in them, what region of the world they're from, and even fancy lady things like wine pairings. The flavor notes on this wine are cherry, plum, nutmeg, and clove. And I find this one especially notable because yes, under pairings it does say grilled tri-tip or flank steak, but it also says potato and cheese pierogies, which some of you will know is one of my favorite foods.
Personally, I think my quiz did a good job because I like all of the bottles I've tried, but if you take the quiz and your results don't quite grip you before checkout, you can swap out any of your wines for a duplicate or any other wine on their website. And even then, you can try new wines with confidence because if you don't like one of the bottles you receive, your Bright Cellars concierge will replace it with a bottle you do like.
Bright Cellars is the perfect pairing for fall and holiday activities like picnics, an intimate dinner with friends, or ensuring that your next family gathering goes as smoothly as possible. So, a toast. Thank you, Bright Cellars, for giving my followers their first 6-bottle subscription box, usually over $150, for just $55. Click the link in the description to take the quiz and get started today. Thank you so much to Bright Cellars for sponsoring this video and making me a fancy lady. Now let's get back to it. Why, hello there. Welcome to sewing day. So it's been a couple of days, and I did mention that I was kind of looking for a different trim material for this jacket because this is just not exactly what I'm going for. So I did do the due diligence of going to a couple of thrift stores, looking around, seeing if there's any more blankets I can sacrifice to the sewing gods. I have come up completely empty. Haven't found a single thing that could work. So I do have a good bit of this left, and I also have pretty different textures going on here. I know this is also not exactly the color scheme that we have going on for this coat. I need to stop doing this. Whenever you have a scarf on, you know, how can you not? Listen, I looked, I tried, I know it's not exactly ideal, but we're just gonna make it work for this project. I want to get to the fun part of this project where I can mess around with dye and paint and all of the fun little details. So right now I am going to get to work on getting all of these lining layers sewn up. This is what she's looking like so far. Like, I dig this silhouette, a long coat. It's just right for me. A lot of people, for some reason, think I'm tall. I am not tall. I am, in fact, 5'3". So anything that elongates my silhouette and makes me look taller, I actually quite like. If I can't actually be tall, at least give me the illusion of height. Just long lines, silhouette. It is practically the Empire State Building. For whatever reason, I thought that there was a lot more preliminary sewing to do before I actually start adding the trim onto this. There's really not. I think this is it. So now we are about to start problem solving this drama.
So I did really want to make the existing fur trim I had work for me, but obviously the colors were not going to work together, so I decided to try to dye them a similar tan color with a little synthetic fabric dye. Which meant an adventure to the fabric store, which I did not film, completely forgot, sorry.
So at this point in the video, I was supposed to go out and get some synthetic fabric dye, and I thought about doing that. I went to the fabric store, but whenever I got there, I meandered over to the faux fur and I got a little distracted. I found a couple of things that I thought just might work a whole lot better for this project, And unfortunately, I did get some new, which normally I try to avoid, but I did my due diligence. And at the end of the day, the more I've thought about it, the more I just want this coat to be exactly what I want it to be, because I do want it to be something that I can wear on a regular basis and wear out in public. That being said, they were out of tan faux fur. They didn't have enough for this project, so I ended up getting white. So I am probably still going to be messing around with the airbrush for that part. So not necessarily a win-win, but I think it is still going to look a whole lot better, so.
Alright, here we go. Trim is now cut out and hopefully ready to be dyed. Now, I am a little bit concerned that this is giving Santa Claus just because of the color combination here, so I'm not too excited about that. I'm a little bit thinking about committing to just one sleeve color instead of having the mismatched patchwork thing, but I'm undecided because if I dye this and it ends up going down to more of a tan level or something that is just not so stark white, I'm kind of going to wait to make that decision until after I dye these. But now I am going to put all of these in a tub of black tea and coffee mixed together.
I'm so changeable.
And hopefully it'll stain to, you know, a good level. Basically just want to take that like stark white edge off of this. So again, it reads as less, you know, Christmas core. Let's do it. I feel like this is actually pretty close to the color that I was going for. Okay, so here are the results of our trim dyeing. I think for the most part it worked. It definitely brought everything down a level. It also separated the fur fibers a little bit, so it looks a little bit more realistic, a little bit more natural instead of like straight out of the fabric ream like it was before. And then whenever these were dyeing, because of gravity, it also had this really cool effect on the tips of all of the fibers where it kind of dyed those a little bit darker. I think that looks more natural and it looks really cool. Like, I really like that. I think it matches the aesthetic that I'm going for here. Also, because of the way I did this, I very chaotically just threw everything into a tub and I was not super picky about it, so it made the dye job pretty inconsistent, which counterintuitively I think actually looks a lot better. I also put a slightly darker dye bath onto the little cuff pieces for the sleeves, and I like that little subtle bit of variation there. So I'm very happy with these. I would call this overall a success, especially for like a really janky dye bath that I just kind of threw together because I was too cheap to buy synthetic dyes. So now we can finally get sewing these onto the coat and finishing it up. I mean, not to spoil things too much, but look at the colors together. It looks so good. I think that this is going to be maybe my new favorite coat. I am already loving how this is turning out, so I'm very excited. Let's do it. I of course started out by pinning all of my newly dyed fur trim onto the coat and sleeves. I sewed the trim all the way along the front opening of the coat, and side note, fur trim is incredibly annoying to sew. Why do I keep insisting on doing this to myself? I stitched the trim onto the red sleeve, right sides together, and trimmed the excess, and I tried to do the same with the green sleeve, but since I cut the hemmed edges from the curtain, it was entirely too thick. So against my will, I ended up sewing the trim on by hand instead, and I was actually able to make it look surprisingly decent. Those Bernadette classes are finally kicking in, I see. So then I stitched the side seam of the sleeves up, right sides together, and I was going to French seam them, but I'll be honest, I got lazy, and who cares, because I'm the one who's gonna wear it. And I don't care. I did the same with the red sleeve, and when I flipped that baby back right side out, it was reminding me of something specific. And yep, the entire coat was reminding me of the same thing. Why did I choose this color combination? I then accepted my fate by permanently attaching the sleeves and even finished them with the zigzag stitch. I wasn't being completely lazy with this. And now it was time to sew the fur trim onto the hem. I pinned the trim to the outer layer right sides together and left the lining hanging free, and fed that to the sharp clutches of my sewing machine. I finished the front edges of the trim, and then we had a more or less functional coat.
Hello, I am almost done with this. Hold on. At the risk of spoiling the reveal, ta-da! Now, is it looking more than a little bit Santa core? Yes. I was really hoping to avoid that by dyeing the fur trim, and I mean, it's still light colored fur trim against red and green. I should have thought that through from the beginning. At this point, it's pretty much done. It is a fully functional coat. The only thing I'm experiencing at this point with this is I keep wanting to do this with my hands. I got nowhere to put my hands. This girl still needs pockets. None of this women don't need places to put their things garbage. I think what I'm gonna do is just cut a square of fabric and do a little top pocket on top of this existing material and finish the edges that way. I mean, it's a patchwork jacket, so it should end up looking fine. I'm thinking that I am going to use this like purple velvet fabric, hoping that will maybe offset some of the Christmas vibes and get it a little bit closer to what I'm actually going for with this. Oh my gosh, ow. Why do you have to do this to me? Do you not like the fur? Oh, she doesn't like it. Anyways, let's add some pockets.
For the pockets, I cut some moderately sized squares out of my purple velvet fabric, folded over and ironed down the edges to get nice clean seams. I finished the top seam of the pocket with a little gold trim embellishment, and then pinned them onto the coat, centering them in the middle of a purple square, and top stitched them down between the outer and lining layers. I had also 3D printed a little set of leaf clasps for the front, so I added a little gold leaf to those, and sewed them on, which looked like this. Finally, I went into the back of the coat and sewed on 2 little pieces of red bias tape so that I can tie it cinched whenever I want to.
And with that, this coat is done, and I'm gonna see you in the reveal. Honestly, so happy with this. It was a little touch and go there for a minute or two, just because I was really afraid that it was going to end up looking like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus. But this I can work with. And it is also super comfortable. Like, this is an effective coat. The way I lined it, it's not too heavy. I think it's like just the right amount of thickness for the climate that I have here, so that's also great. I maybe got a little bit caught up in the construction process this week because I was also working on a different project simultaneously, and it was just like a lot to keep straight in my brain. That and the time constraints. So I maybe didn't talk enough to the camera to make this like an entertaining enough video. So I thought in the end here, a little bit of a styling session is probably in order.
To start us off, obviously I had to test out this coat with my goth dress. I paired this with my usual red tank top underneath, leather shorts, and tall boots, and of course accessorized with my red sunglasses. I tried this with the coat buckled and unbuckled, but I really like the buckled version. Something about the extremely flared silhouette is just very interesting to me visually. But obviously this outfit is a little much to wear to most places, but I do just generally enjoy the drama. I would definitely wear it on the channel again. The next outfit is definitely something that I have worn before. I paired a little orange tank top with a sheer pattern blouse and pattern skirt, and I know that most of society has probably moved away from pattern clashing, but I am still really into it as a maximalist, so I really enjoy this outfit, especially the fact that the green in the shirt and the green in the coat are so close together. It's just one of those little details in an outfit that makes my brain really happy. Overall, prime example of an outfit that I think works really well with this coat that I would definitely wear again. For this next one, I wanted to try out something I've seen some folks do lately, which is wearing a skirt as a dress. Versatility, am I right, people? So I just used the same pattern skirt from earlier, but I paired it with my little corset vest, and not only is this outfit comfortable and very simple, I think it's also really cute with the coat. This is also something that I would definitely wear again. I think it also would be cute with a little long sleeve button up kind of halter tied in the middle. The skirts as dresses thing is definitely something that I want to play around with a little bit more. This one is a bit of a brave outfit because she is a low rise. Not something that I would maybe normally pick, but I haven't tried these two out in combination yet. I got both these pieces from Lady Epi as part of a trade, and I adore both of them, and they have big cozy PJs vibes as a set, but I feel like with a coat like this, they also have some major Y2K energy. I also love the leaves in the shirt since the coat also has a leaf theme, and I doubt I'll ever be brave enough to wear this out because I feel very exposed, so this is just for y'all. This next outfit is one of my go-to outfits that are more on the mask side. Just some gray slacks, a black vest, and an 80s style pattern button-up. I absolutely love this. It simultaneously makes me feel like a Victorian newspaper boy and like I'm 1980 1980s power dressing. And the coat adds that little necessary touch of drama. I feel very powerful in this outfit. And finally, another piece from my trade with Lady Eppie, and one of my favorite pieces I own now. This burgundy gothic themed romper once again matched with my little corset vest. I paired this with pigtails to make it a little bit more playful, and this outfit makes me feel like a hex girl, and you guys know that I love anything that makes me feel like a hex girl. Would absolutely wear again, I just have to find the appropriate weird setting.
Hey, here is my seasonal recommendation to you. Go out, thrift some fabric, make yourself a weird coat. It is so much fun. You know, what are we if not cold human beings who just want to be swaddled in blankets in a socially acceptable way at all times?
This is the plushiest, most opulent robe I've ever had the pleasure of wearing.
But as always, the biggest thank you for this video and all of my videos goes to my beautiful patrons and especially my executive producers.
Crimson Moon 04, Rest Easy, Lirael, Liana, Armlor Jean, Anubix, Breeza, Elizabeth Smith, Bean the Bread, I Hang Out with Cats at Parties, Bobo McFo, Freya Wolf, Gravity Drop, Sweet Winter Garden, Katie, Hypnos, India Gloom, Enozyme, Megan Penland, Meeks Hunter, Eloquent Silence, Lovisa, Thea Maia, Agent.Sketchy, The Cat's Bark, Alwyn Hayes, Shay Lee, Zyle S, Dodo, Cat, Small_Creeper, Francesca Sliwa, Freedom and Gus Gus, Sama Lama Ding Dong, Rose Koffrick, Rose Jacani, Phoenix, Brian, The Cat Bus is Early, and Miss Wicked.
It is comforting me at an elite spa level.